Have you ever stopped to think about what some images can reveal? Photographs have the power to capture moments, stories, and sometimes mysteries that even science cannot explain. From ancient maps that challenge the chronology of history to records of paranormal phenomena that make us question the limits of what we consider real, the world is full of images that defy all rational explanations. Hello, restless minds. I'm Code, and this is Discover It, where curiosity knows no bounds. Subscribe and help the channel grow, because every time you like, comment, or share, you're helping us bring these discoveries to more people. Together, we can create a community where curiosity can change the world. But what do these photographs have in common? Could they hide clues about lost civilizations, supernatural events, or even indications that we are not alone in the universe? Get ready to explore mysteries so profound that they will challenge your understanding of the world. What can we really conclude from these enigmatic images? Imagine a map made at the beginning of the 16th century, at a time when much of the world was still unknown to most civilizations. The Piri-Reis map, created in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer of the same name, is a masterpiece that defies conventional historical knowledge. What makes this map so extraordinary is its incredibly accurate depiction of the coast of Antarctica, a continent whose existence was only officially discovered in 1820, over 300 years later. How could someone in the early Renaissance have access to such detailed information about a region that, as far as we know, was hidden under a layer of ice? Besides Antarctica, the map also shows South America with a surprising level of accuracy, surpassing other European maps of the time. The coastal curves, rivers, and even some mountains are depicted with impressive detail. Experts suggest that Piri-Reis used ancient sources to compose his work, possibly texts from civilizations far older than those we know, or perhaps records from explorers forgotten by history. And if that's true, who would have produced this information long before we had the technology to map it? The theories are as fascinating as the map itself. Some believe that advanced unknown civilizations, perhaps as ancient as the legendary Atlantis, could have created maps long before recorded history. Others suggest that the map is just a coincidence or a collection of fanciful accounts. However, no conventional explanation can fully eliminate the sense of mystery surrounding this artifact. After all, do we really know everything about our past, or are there gaps still waiting to be filled? The Eiffel Tower, now one of the world's most iconic monuments, was once seen as an affront to Parisian aesthetics. When construction began in 1887, many critics called it a horrible iron skeleton. However, few could have imagined that this structure, built for the 1889 World's Fair, would become a global symbol of innovation and beauty. But how is it possible to build something so grand at a time without the modern technologies we know today? The tower was an engineering feat for its time, composed of 18,000 metal pieces held together by more than 2.5 million rivets. Workers labored at dizzying heights without the safety equipment we have today, manually adjusting each component. Despite the challenges, the project was completed in just over 2 years, a surprising speed for a structure 330 meters tall. Could older construction methods hold secrets that we still don't fully understand? Or was it simply the result of extraordinary vision and dedication? When the tower was finished, it became the tallest structure in the world, a title it held for 41 years, until the construction of the Chrysler Building in New York. Its innovative design not only challenged the aesthetic standards of the time, but also demonstrated what could be achieved with planning, boldness, and determination. Today, the Eiffel Tower is more than just an architectural wonder. It's proof of humanity's power to transcend limits and turn criticism into achievement. Have you ever looked at an old photo and noticed something strange, something that shouldn't be there? That's exactly what happened in an apparently innocent photograph of a group of children. In the background of the image, a dark man appears, wearing a hat reminiscent of Freddy Krueger, the famous villain from A Nightmare on Elm Street. The similarity is so uncanny that, once discovered, the photo immediately caught the attention of paranormal enthusiasts and skeptical critics alike. But what really happened in that frozen moment in time? Photography experts were called in to analyze the picture, and what followed only heightened the mystery. They concluded there was no evidence of manipulation, ruling out the possibility of digital editing. Could it just be a coincidence? Maybe a passerby wearing something similar to the iconic hat? While plausible, this possibility doesn't explain why none of the children or adults present remembered anyone dressed like that. Were they so distracted that they let something so sinister go unnoticed? The question that remains is, why was this figure there? There are no signs of a clear, rational explanation, and the resemblance to the fictional character is, at the very least, unsettling. Could it be a case of pareidolia, where our brains find familiar patterns in common objects? Or are we facing an inexplicable event, something that surpasses the boundaries of what we understand about reality and fiction? Imagine being in a laboratory surrounded by scientists and witnessing a woman move objects without touching them. That's exactly what happened in the 1960s when Nina Kaligina, a Soviet citizen, attracted the attention of researchers for her supposed psychokinetic abilities. Under strictly controlled conditions, she demonstrated that she could move small objects such as matchboxes and needles using only the power of her mind. But how can such feats be explained in a scientific context? The experiments involving Kaligina were conducted at the USSR Academy of Sciences, where extreme measures were taken to rule out fraud. Even so, her demonstrations intrigued scholars who sought explanations both within and beyond the boundaries of traditional science. Some believed her ability was the result of a highly trained mental state or even an unusual biological characteristic. Others wondered if the Soviet government was trying to exploit these abilities for military purposes. After all, in the heat of the Cold War, any strategic advantage was coveted. Despite all the scientific attention, Kaligina never gained worldwide fame due to Soviet censorship and Western skepticism. Many critics claimed that her powers could be carefully crafted tricks, though no one managed to replicate her demonstrations under the same conditions. Was Nina Kaligina an extremely talented fraud, or did her mind truly possess unexplored capabilities? In December 1900, the Eilean Mor Lighthouse, located in the Flannan Isles of Scotland, became the epicenter of one of the most intriguing disappearances in history. 3 lighthouse keepers, Thomas Marshall, James Duckett, and Donald MacArthur, vanished without a trace, and the only clue left behind was a diary with cryptic entries and one last photograph. In the picture, the men appear uneasy, their expressions interpreted by many as fear or worry. But what could have caused 3 experienced men to vanish so mysteriously? When investigators arrived at the lighthouse, they found the table set, yet there were no signs of struggle or violence. The diary contained disturbing notes about violent storms and strange behavior among the men in previous days. However, weather records from that time indicated calm conditions. Theories soon emerged. Could a giant wave have swept them away? Were they victims of an external attack, perhaps by pirates or something more supernatural? The photograph, along with the diary's accounts, lends itself to interpretations ranging from paranormal phenomena to more rational, albeit equally grim, explanations. Although the giant wave theory is the most widely accepted among historians, the lack of concrete evidence keeps the mystery alive to this day. Who took the last photo? Why did the men seem so uneasy? And above all, what really happened on that fateful night? The Eilean Mor Lighthouse case continues to intrigue curious minds, reminding us that not all of the world's mysteries come with answers. On March 13, 1997, the skies over the state of Arizona in the United States became the stage for one of the largest UFO sightings in history. Known as the Phoenix Lights, the event involved thousands of witnesses who reported the presence of a giant, V-shaped object silently crossing the sky. The bright lights outlining the structure were observed over hundreds of kilometers, and the event was recorded by cameras and confirmed by reports from police officers, pilots, and even the then governor of the state. But what really passed through the skies that night? Many people described the experience as both frightening and fascinating. While some witnesses reported seeing a massive, solid craft blocking out the stars, others described the phenomenon as a formation of independent lights. To heighten the mystery, the U.S. Air Force stated that the lights were merely flares used in military exercises. However, this explanation doesn't match the silent and coordinated behavior of the lights, nor the magnitude of the reported object. Was it just a coincidence that so many witnesses described something so uniform? The event remains a subject of intense debate between ufologists and skeptics. While some believe the sighting is one of the strongest pieces of evidence for alien technology, others suggest it may have been a secret military experiment. Yet, questions persist. Why did the government take so long to provide an explanation? And why did so many witnesses describe something far beyond simple flares? Perhaps the Phoenix lights serve as a reminder that the universe still holds secrets we have not even begun to unravel. On an apparently calm afternoon in the 1990s, a group of tourists decided to explore the caves of Ras Al Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates. While photographing the dark interior of one of the caves, they captured something that left them perplexed, an unusual figure partially hidden by the shadows. When the photo was developed, it showed what appeared to be a humanoid creature with frighteningly strange features. What was really hidden in the darkness of that cave? Reports say that moments after the photo was taken, a terrifying scream echoed inside the cave, leaving the tourists petrified. The police were called in, and during the search, a human body was found in a hard-to-access area. However, the identity of the deceased could not be immediately confirmed, and no concrete clues were found linking the mysterious creature in the photo to the body. This chain of events sparked speculation about the existence of unknown species living in the depths of caves, or even about supernatural activities. Experts who analyzed the image proposed several hypotheses. It could be an unusual rock formation illuminated in a peculiar way, a deliberate hoax, or perhaps something that science still cannot explain. Yet, rational explanations have not dispelled the unease that the photo provokes. After all, if this creature really existed, what else might be lurking in the shadows of places we rarely explore? In 1971, during the Apollo 14 mission, astronauts Alan Shepard and Edgar Mitchell conducted a series of scientific experiments on the moon's surface, but an unexpected phenomenon ended up drawing more attention than any data collected. Official photographs taken during the mission revealed strange bright lights on the lunar horizon, which seemed to float and change position between shots. Were these lights merely common reflections or something more intriguing? The astronauts reported that the lights were far from their location, making it unlikely they were reflections on their camera visors. Theories quickly emerged, attempting to explain the phenomenon. Some suggested that the glows could be caused by electrically charged lunar dust particles or by the reflection of minerals under intense sunlight. Others speculated that it could be related to still unknown geological processes, such as gas emissions from the lunar crust. But none of these explanations provided a conclusive answer. These mysterious lights remain one of the most fascinating enigmas of space exploration. They make us wonder, are we still underestimating the moon's complexity? Or is it possible that this phenomenon represents something completely beyond our current understanding? The lunar lights of Apollo 14 continue to inspire scientists and enthusiasts to seek answers to what might be one of the cosmos' great mysteries. In December 1972, during the last manned mission to the moon, Apollo 17, a photograph taken by astronaut Eugene Cernan aroused great curiosity among space enthusiasts and researchers. In the image, in the distance, there appear to be pyramid-like formations rising against the lunar horizon. These unusual structures, now known as the geophone rock anomaly, immediately prompted questions. Are they just natural geological formations, or could they be evidence of something far more surprising, perhaps extraterrestrial in origin? The so-called pyramids or hills, as NASA described them, have lines and angles that seem too symmetrical to be the work of chance. Some believe they could be remnants of structures built by an alien civilization that visited the moon at some point in the distant past. Other theories suggest these formations could be the remains of extremely rare geological processes still little understood by modern science. However, the lack of in-depth studies and high-resolution images continues to fuel speculation. Whatever the explanation, the geophone rock anomaly challenges our understanding of what we know about the moon. If these formations are truly artificial, who built them? And for what purpose? The lunar pyramids are a fascinating reminder that even after decades of space exploration, the moon still holds secrets that make us look to the sky with the same wonder as the ancients. Since the 1950s, reports of a mysterious object orbiting Earth have intrigued both the scientific community and fans of alternative theories. Dubbed the Black Knight, this enigmatic satellite was supposedly first observed by astronomers who recorded an unknown body moving in a polar orbit, uncommon for the time, given that human satellites did not yet use such trajectories. But who placed this object in space? The most widespread theory is that the Black Knight could be an alien relic orbiting Earth for over 13,000 years. The legend gained traction in 1899 when Nikola Tesla claimed to have detected repetitive signals from space, which he believed to be extraterrestrial messages. Decades later, astronomers and amateur radio operators reported similar signals, attributing them to the mysterious object. Photographs taken by astronauts, especially during NASA's STS-88 mission, appear to show a peculiar structure, fueling further speculation. Skeptics argue that the Black Knight is just a piece of space debris or a fragment of decommissioned satellites. Still, the precision with which it was identified since the 1950s and the lack of concrete explanations for its origin keep the mystery alive. Is the Black Knight evidence that we are not alone, or just another piece in the puzzle of the vast unknown universe around us? In 1975, Diane and Peter Berthelot visited St. Mary's Church in Worstead, Norfolk, England. During their tour, Diane decided to sit on one of the church pews to rest while Peter took a photo of her. When the film was developed, the image revealed something no one expected. Next to Diane, clearly visible, was the figure of a woman dressed in white. The couple insisted that the church was completely empty at the time the photo was taken. Who was this mysterious figure? Worstead Church has a long history of alleged sightings, particularly of the so-called White Lady. According to local legend, the spirit is that of a 19th century healer who cared for the sick and needy. Many people claim the White Lady appears in times of need or to comfort those seeking peace. This connection to the church's history led many to believe that Diane may have been visited by this spiritual entity that day. Experts analyzed the photo and found no evidence of manipulation or reflections that might explain the apparition. Skeptics suggest it could simply be a trick of the light or an optical illusion, but none of these explanations seem enough to fully demystify what occurred. After all, how can one account for the serenity and precise details of the figure? The photo remains one of the most emblematic images of the paranormal, challenging both believers and skeptics to understand what really happened at Worstead Church. In 1924, the crew of the oil tanker SS Watertown, while sailing through the Panama Canal, witnessed one of the most intriguing events in maritime history. Two crew members, James Courtney and Michael Meehan, lost their lives in a tragic accident involving toxic gas inhalation. After their deaths, something unsettling began to happen. The surviving crew reported seeing the faces of the two men emerging from the sea, as if they were watching them from the beyond. Disturbed and intrigued, the sailors decided to document the phenomenon. Using a simple camera, they took a photo of the water's surface. When the film was developed, the image clearly revealed two ghostly faces staring directly at the lens. The photo quickly became a public curiosity, even analyzed by experts of the time, including the Christian Science Monitor, which stated that there was no sign of manipulation or fraud. Although experts suggest that the faces could be the result of random patterns in the water or light effects, the clarity of the features and the event's context make rational explanations difficult. Is it possible that the spirits of Courtney and Mian were trying to communicate, or might the human mind, seeking to explain a tragedy, have projected something onto the vastness of the ocean? The SS Watertown case continues to haunt the collective imagination, leaving a disquieting question. What really happens after death? In 1987, a woman identified only as MS visited a historic airfield in England and decided to take a photo in the cockpit of an old airplane as a keepsake. To her surprise, when the film was developed, the image showed something she had not noticed at the time. Next to her in the pilot's seat was the figure of a man dressed in what appeared to be a World War II aviator's uniform. But who was this mysterious passenger? MS insisted that she was alone in the cockpit when the photo was taken. Moreover, staff at the location confirmed that no one else had entered the cabin during her visit. The male figure, with a vintage cap and characteristic uniform, seemed to fit perfectly into the aircraft setting, deepening the mystery. Photography experts who examined the image ruled out edits or reflections as possible explanations, stating that the photo appeared to be authentic. For many, the picture represents the presence of the spirit of a pilot who may have lost his life in combat, remaining attached to the plane in which he served. Skeptics suggest it might have been an airfield employee who went unnoticed, but that doesn't explain why the woman had no memory of anyone beside her. The Phantom Pilot is another of those cases that make us question whether certain memories, and even lives, remain connected to objects and places in ways we still do not understand. Hampton Court Palace, one of the oldest and most iconic palaces in the United Kingdom, is famous for its ghost stories. In 2003, these legends gained traction when security cameras captured a mysterious figure in one of the palace's galleries. The footage, which quickly went viral, shows what appears to be a humanoid entity dressed in 16th century style clothing, opening and closing a heavy door with ease. But who or what was this apparition? The incident occurred in an area closed to the public, adding credibility to the recording. Palace guards, alerted by the sudden opening of the door, checked the footage and were shocked by the figure they saw. No one was found in the area when they arrived to investigate, and the entity's attire, a long cloak and ornate outfit, was completely incompatible with anything a modern visitor might wear. While skeptics suggest the video could be a prank or a light reflection, the figure's movement and interaction with the environment defy simple explanations. Many believe the ghost could be the spirit of one of the palace's former residents, perhaps even King Henry VIII or one of his wives. The Hampton Court ghost remains one of the most intriguing pieces of evidence for possible supernatural activity in historic locations, prompting us to wonder if the past truly can leave such vivid marks on the present. In 1919, a group photograph of the Royal Air Force was taken to commemorate the end of World War I. All the members of the unit posed for the camera, but when the picture was developed, something surprising appeared. Among the faces of the airmen, a familiar visage emerged: Freddie Jackson, a mechanic who had died 2 days earlier in a tragic airplane propeller accident. Apparently, Freddie was unaware of his own death, or decided to show up for his final group photo. The image, showing Freddie clearly among his colleagues, was widely circulated and studied. Experts ruled out tampering with a negative, stating that the picture seemed genuine. Skeptics argued the apparition could be a case of pareidolia, where we see familiar faces in random patterns. Some suggested it might be another crew member's face, partially imposed due to the limited camera technology at the time. Nevertheless, many believe that the photograph demonstrates that Freddie, even after his death, maintained a connection to his unit. Is it possible that intense emotions or a strong sense of duty could leave such a vivid presence? The ghost of Freddie Jackson is one of the most famous cases of documented spiritual apparitions, prompting us to ponder the ties that endure even beyond life. What can we learn from these mysteries captured in photos and paintings? Each one offers a glimpse into how vast the world is, full of stories and phenomena that challenge logic. From maps hinting at forgotten civilizations to apparitions testing the limits of our perception, these images make us question what we truly know about history, the universe, and even ourselves. Whether you're a skeptic or open to the extraordinary, it's undeniable that these photographic records spark our imagination and awaken our curiosity. After all, in a world where answers aren't always clear, it's the questions that drive us to explore and understand more. If you enjoyed this journey of discoveries, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and comment below about what caught your attention most. Perhaps others will relate, and together we can start a fun conversation. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more content where curiosity never has limits.